Alrighty.
Well, it says we're live, so welcome from the crossroads of America. This is a 1-hour talk show, Shooting with Disabilities. We try to stay on topic, but we also talk guns, politics, or anything else that crosses our mind. We'll answer questions from the audience. Either put them in the chat or email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. We are, because there's no we here, there's only me. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, and all the other info is down in the information section below. So there we go. We got that out of the way. So let me see. Two Live Moo was the first in tonight. Then I believe it was Gun Loving Grandpa. Yep. Then Jason Stewart. Then Raphael. So people are starting to trickle in. So it takes them a few minutes to get notified by YouTube, if YouTube does notify them. You know. All right. Right now, my one panelist at the moment is New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for having me. As I mentioned before, a little confused. I was off a day today, so threw my afternoon or evening all out of whack.
Well, that's okay, as long as you made it here. Mind you, why we're waiting to see if anybody else shows up, let me plug rnldisplays.com. That's I got it on the wall mount, my AR-15 on there. He also does, you do the AK yet? You do the AK-47 mount yet?
No, I don't have one yet, unfortunately.
Okay. So
not for sale yet.
What mounts do you have for sale?
AR style type, however. Glock mag, so PCCs, basically Glock PCCs. Obviously none are made by Glock at this point because Glock doesn't care about its dealers, and Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. So there's obviously the AR one will take a variety of anything that pretty much takes an AR mag. Also, fun fact, the AK does sit on it as well too, but it's not the proper mag for it.
Yeah, so it doesn't have that sort of like curve in it.
Yeah, well, it's got one, but not the AK curve. There is a difference. Yeah.
All right, but anyway, where I was going with this is if you go to the website and when you get to checkout, type in Rick's Life and get a 15% discount. So there you go. That's what I wanted to say. So let's see. We got Two Live Moo. Let's put your link in the chat there, Rob. So RNL Displays. That's good. MK Joe's here. So he's showing up. Anyway, so what I was basically, I did have a little topic. We talked about it before, but I was hoping to have more people on the panel, but that's okay. I can waffle on for a little while. Well, now that it's not officially fall yet, though, is it? But it's getting there. I noticed. Mind you, we've had weather up in the. I think was it yesterday? It hit in the 90s, and today it was high 80s. I think it got to 89 today. So it's cooled off some, but not a lot. But it's cooler in the mornings, and temperatures dropping in the evenings. So fall is on the way. And I was sitting here when I was resting my eyes in the recliner earlier this afternoon. Oh, gun loving grandpa wants to know if you got any extra Glock mags for his display. I guess to sell him, I guess, or give him, or whatever. I'll let you deal with it.
I'd have to check. I'm
All right.
not sure what the, I'd say, extra stock is in a sense. I know with the AR ones and Smith and Wesson M&P 1522, I had some ones I wasn't 100% happy with that I pulled out of stock, and those I've been tossing in lately as an extra with people who order those, basically for a wall mount mag. So it's fine on the wall, no problems. It's just I wasn't 100% happy with it on the base. So basically, so if you're looking for one of those, until supplies run out, it's coming with an extra. I will double check on something for Buck though to see if I have something.
All right. Okay. So anyway, where I was going with this, when I was resting my eyes in the recliner today, I wasn't sleeping. I was just resting my eyes. And I was thinking, with the fall coming on, what made me think about it was, for some unknown reason today, my left thumb is swollen. And it's the arthritis is what it is. And it hurts like a son of a bitch to move it. I mean, the thumb, the actual digit itself is not swollen. It's the part below your thumb where your thick pad is. You squeeze it, you touch it, and it hurts like hell on my hand. And what was where I was going with this is I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to dig out my some shooting gloves, or I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to dig out my compression gloves and start wearing those when I go shooting and stuff, which will help, because, when the cool weather comes, the arthritis gets worse. It's just a known fact. So that's what made me think of it. And I was just thinking, that's about the only thing I do different. I don't do anything. I mean, if it's goddamn snow outside and freezing, I normally won't go shooting. And I don't like shooting in the rain either, even though I have. But mainly the only thing I worry about is my hands. Because the rest of my body hurts too because of the arthritis. My shoulders, my legs. I don't have no arthritis in my hips because I got the bionic ones. I got new ones. So there's no arthritis in my hips anymore. But I got arthritis in my knees, my ankles, all that good stuff. So, but I normally I'll wear some type of gloves on my hands in the cooler months because of the arthritis. Plus, but I know what will happen every time I go shooting. When I come home, normally that evening, my hands will hurt like hell. But it's the price you pay, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Will Arms joined us. How you doing?
Good, Rick. How are you?
All right.
Hey, New York.
How you doing, Will?
Good.
I'd suggest maybe popping, maybe a couple Advil or something before you go. Maybe that would help, something like that, or Aleve. I don't really know what's available for arthritis, but kind of pre-game it if you know it's a problem ahead of time.
Yeah.
Something like that might help. And obviously gloves, I would just state maybe some, the problem with gloves is anything that I found that really keeps you warm, you can't do much in,
Oh, absolutely.
They're just too thick, especially any kind of work or picking up anything, a key out of your pocket, anything. If you can do that with them, they're probably not warm, but at the same time, when you're not shooting, even if it's a thinner liner glove, it's still gonna be warmer overall, help with the wind chill, and give you a little something extra in your pockets, or to put your hand in. So
Maybe
even possibly those warmers in your pockets too. So in between doing things, you could keep a little heat on your hands. Sorry,
maybe
go ahead
those
with it.
copper infused gloves. They're not warm gloves, but at least that copper does help.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I have. That's what I use. That's what I was saying before you joined us. I got a pair of those. I gotta dig them out. I was just thinking with the cold weather coming, the cooler weather, I should say, my arthritis gets worse. And what made me think about it was I was saying my pad and my thumb hurts like hell today, and it's the arthritis flaring up in there. And that's what made me think about finding the gloves. Because what I'll do now is I know where they're at, and I'm going to pull them out after the show. Is I'll put my left hand on, and for the thumbs covered and being compressed, it helps it. So
Right.
And if it gives you trouble, like in not really cold weather, but just say a little cooler weather, but not to the point where you'd wear gloves, if you're using them for padding, they do actually sell finger tape. It's usually used in like manufacturing, things like that, but it's kind of a thick tape in a sense. They have different colors and whatnot. Almost something similar to what they call it, mule's hide, for blisters or something like that. But on a tape form that you can wrap around. And if you're working with small parts a lot, things like that, you still have grip, but it avoids cuts and provides a little bit of a padding. So maybe something like that could be helpful to wrap around your thumb. If you're just running into too much pressure on that area or something like that.
Yeah, what I'll do is I've got two pairs. I got one that's full fingered pair of gloves, compression gloves, which are real thin. Then I've got what they call them, fingerless ones that only go down to my knuckle. That's the ones I normally use when I'm shooting.
Moleskin. That's what you were looking for.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Been a while since I've had it. I still actually have it. I just never need to use it, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I've seen other people live by it.
You're no longer a tenderfoot?
Yeah.
No, not no more.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was one of the things I was thinking of. And of course, when the cool, it's not cold enough yet for me to start putting a jacket on yet. But when it cools down a little bit more, I'll start wearing my. I normally don't wear a coat in the wintertime. Very rare. If I'm being invited out somewhere or something, I'll put on my leather jacket. But normally I just hang out in jeans. I don't even very rarely ever even wear long sleeve shirt in the wintertime. But I'll throw on my vest. That it looks like a fishing vest actually, but it has the inside pockets either left or right to carry my firearm. So I'm wearing that one, so everybody knows. Oh, look, he's carrying a firearm. So I was sitting down today talking about that. Change subject slightly. I was sitting down in Deb's diner this morning, and one of the regular guys come in, and I had I don't know. Anyway, my shirt worked its way up, and my gun. It was actually my actual shirt, and then my shirt was actually tucked in behind my my gun, so my gun was on full display, and I didn't even know it sitting there. It was no biggie, but one of the guys, he sat down and we're talking. He's sitting across the aisle from me on a different table, and he looks over there and he said, "What gun's that?" Oh, I said, "This is my pimp gun." And I said, "It's my Smith & Wesson, 380 Performance Center. Easy." He goes, "Oh, okay." He said, "I was just curious." Because then I looked and I saw it sitting there. I went, oh, well. I said, I can carry it open in this state anyway, so it don't really matter. But I pulled my shirt back over the top of it. That's how I normally carry it. Anyway, that's my little story for this morning. Anyway, so with the cooler weather, well, in the 20-odd years ago when I lived in Georgia, the cooler weather was January and February. The rest of it was hot. for what I can remember there, Will and Well Armed. You only got about 2 months of cold weather or cool weather. No, I'd say cold weather, But do you do anything to help you? Being in a wheelchair and shit like that. Do you do anything different? Do you wear gloves or put whatever on or anything like this? Did he walk away from us? Yeah, I think he did. I think he walked away from us.
No, I didn't. I was just talking to my muted phone.
Oh, okay.
I wear a jacket that's short and it's nylon on the outside and that fleece on the inside and really super warm. But when it gets surprisingly warm here, it's still not uncomfortable. So it's got a big range of where it's comfortable in temperatures, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got about 4 of those jackets. I wear those, probably 4 months out of the year, and then that's about as cold as it gets here. I mean, if it
I know.
really cold, I wear a scarf or gloves, but seldom.
Do any of those jackets have the holster inside them?
No, I wear the Sneaky Pete. I don't need a holster.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I wasn't sure if you changed up in the colder months or not. So.
No.
All right. I was. Yeah. I was debating. See, I talked about this before. I mean, because I'm carrying my gun on my right side. I'm carrying it. That's 12. It's got to be around 1:30, 2 o'clock. I got it swung all the way around here, and because I can't get my shoulder back here anymore, not quickly anyway, and I can get my gun out quicker there. But I'm thinking of going. I'm either debating whether to go back to carrying it left-handed, like I used to, because I can shoot with either hand. I just can't hold it for a long time in my left hand. So, I mean, if I pulled it and took a shot, then I would have to swap over to my right hand if I had to do a second shot. You know what I'm saying? But then again, knowing me, if I was in a situation with my adrenaline pumping, I'm more like empty out all 8 shots in the person before I realized it anyway. With the one hand, just keep pulling the trigger. Not saying that's the correct thing to do. I was just trying to be realistic. With the adrenaline pumping, I might just do that without even thinking about it. So.
Yeah, I think switching from hand to hand is pretty common with people with disabilities. You got more ability in one hand than the other, or just dexterity. Trying to, it's hard to pivot your wheelchair, one-handed or uneven ground or whatever, or keep yourself from rolling off and shooting one-handed. So I could cover 180 degrees, but between my left and right hand easily, and probably a good bit more.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Rob, do you do anything for the cooler months? I know you're all able-bodied anyway.
Still, I hate the cold, so thin gloves usually. If I do anything, I do the thinner. Got a pair that's kind of like fleece lined, but yet I relate it to like a windbreaker material on the outside, and they do pretty well. You don't have the best grip, but it seems fine for shooting, mag changes, things like that. Sometimes the people are familiar, the Gorilla Grip gloves. I use those a lot for work. You can pick things up with those, but there's nothing as far as insulation is concerned. So, other than that, that's pretty much it. try to keep my hands warm, and then when I am actually shooting, do what I can to minimize the wind shear.
Rob, are those gloves that are textile and they're dipped in rubber?
Kind of. They're not actually a rubber, because that'll make your hands even colder. I've tried those. I use those for work as well. I'm not sure what it is, but it's kind of like a rubber. So I might have a pair somewhere.
Yeah, I have. I used to play wheelchair rugby in those, and they're real grippy on wheels and all.
And they're pretty good, I think. But use them usually daily. So all the auto mechanics, all types of things. I've tried the mechanics gloves, but they just, I don't see them as worth the money for me. And then if you get them all greasy, you got to take them off before you can, touch other parts of the vehicle or something anyway. It's really the same thing with a house. If you're working on anything, if you get your gloves dirty and touch the siding, cleaning it's much more of a hassle than just swapping a pair of gloves, because more than likely you're never going to get it right. Aluminum, vinyl, doesn't matter. Once you add any kind of chemical, the color is just different. So best thing to do is avoid it, swap gloves. So that's the main reason I wear them in a lot of cases.
All right.
A little off topic, but sorry.
That's all right. Oh, I know what I forgot to mention. I'm actually going. I'm only shooting I'm shooting, because I told you I went shooting last week, and with my 380, I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I'm actually that's all I'm taking with me tomorrow, and I've got 50 380 reloads I've done here. I got boxes and boxes of these, but I'm just taking 50 with me. I don't know if I'm going to shoot all 50, but I'm going to shoot 2 or 3 mags. I'm going there in the morning before we go to the diner. So, thought shoot off 2 or 3 magazines, practice, then go down to the diner, I thought, well, there we go. That'll work. I mean, because I'm up, and normally all I do is I just pitter potter around here, and I normally get to the diner around 9:30, quarter to 10. But I'm ready to go at 9 o'clock. Normally what I'll do is I'll just drive around up and down the streets and the country roads and shit. Just waiting for the time to go into the diner. But my friend said, well, why don't you just stop over here in the mornings? And he said, I'm always here. He said, I'm up working on cars and all kinds of shit. He said, we can both go shooting before we go down the diner. I said, that works for me. So that's where I'm going tomorrow. I thought I'd just mention it, Nice to be able to just go somewhere, dump a couple of, magazines, and jump back in your car, Oh, that's the gloves you're talking about?
Yeah, these are ones that are decent for mild weather. Nothing severely cold, but definitely good grip, all that type of stuff. Shooting.
Yeah, the gloves I was talking about are a little bit cheaper than that. They're kind of white-ish color and usually either blue, green, or orange in the rubber part. But they're cheap. They're $1 a pack, or you get a 6-pack for $5. I don't know what you call them, but they're purposely built gloves for something in the hardware store.
Yeah. Mind you, talking about those copper, I've got some of those copper infused ones. I'm trying to think the brand name now. The main brand.
Tommy something.
Yeah. Well, mine, I've got sort of like little strips of rubber across the palm and fingers, which helps with gripping, my handgun. Which I thought, or gripping anything, whatever you're using them for, I mean, when I say rubber, I mean I'm talking a tiny. It looks like a piece of thread actually, but it's actually when you run your hand across it, it's sort of feels rubbery. You know?
I'd avoid anything like these, like shiny like that, because the grip really sucks for these types of gloves. So in the hardware store, those are normally the kind that come in the pack, which are like yellow or blue tips. They're similar to this. It's a shiny kind of really smooth. Then you have like the Gorilla Grips, which is more of a dull. You can see there where it's actually kind of grippy. There's other brands as well that are the same way, where they're kind of grippy, dull. They're not this shiny, plasticky stuff. That plasticky stuff is slippery, like especially if it's wet out. Oh, it's bad. Like
can you shoot a gun with those on?
You can, but you're gonna have crappier grip than you would barehanded. That's why I wouldn't even bother with something like these. Plus, that plasticky stuff, like it actually attracts
what about the other ones?
The other ones, oh yeah, that's fine with these. Yeah, you can pick change up off the ground with these. So.
Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah, so I mean that was sort of my topic. Really, was getting ready for the cooler months. I was just thinking of, as I said, I was just thinking about it because my thumb was swollen, and it made me think, oh damn, yeah, I got that to look forward to. Basically, it's just a arthritic flare up in my left thumb today, and that's what made me think, oh God, it's coming back to that season again, you know. Oh, gun loving grandpa said that's Rob's Michael Jackson glove, you know.
I got a bag of them in the hallway, so usually there's either 6 or 7 sets on a clothesline. There's some in the washer right now, and some in a bag in the hallway. So it's not uncommon for me to use 2-3 sets a day, depending on what I'm doing, swapping things out. So.
Yeah. All right. So, what's all that noise in the background? You fixing yourself dinner?
No, I'm on the back porch. That's probably the rain.
Oh, is it raining there? It's raining there?
Yeah, it's been raining for a few hours now.
No, it's been beautiful here this afternoon. It was pouring down rain here this morning. You know, but
yeah, we just started getting rain about an hour ago too.
Yeah, that's on you. Well, you guys are on the East Coast. You know, even though I'm in Eastern time zone, I'm just barely. You know, I'm here in the what's Indiana? Call it the Midwest. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. Anyway, hey, you guys got any other topics you want to talk about? Children with disabilities or anything? Or do you got anything else that's on your mind you want to unload? I'm sure there was something in the news this week so far that's got you hyper.
Anybody heard about the UN the treaty that Biden's trying to get us in?
Oh yeah. Obama tried it too.
Yeah.
You know, now the president, I don't know if he signed it yet or not. Right? But that treaty has to be passed by Congress or at least the Senate. You know, to be into effect, because it's affecting them. It's affecting the American people. I think I could be totally wrong, but that's the way I understood it.
No, treaties have to be ratified by the Senate.
Yeah. So, you know,
I think Obama tried to sign it anyway, trying to slip it through, saying it wasn't a treaty.
Oh yeah, because he had he had that goddamn sleazeball. What's his name? The traitor. He's in Biden's global warming camp now. Can't think of his name. Wasn't he the? Oh God. He's flying all over the country in his jet, but says we got to do climate warming.
Kerry.
Yeah,
John Kerry.
yeah. I believe he was the one that tried to. He was the one pushing that with Obama back in the day.
Yeah, he's insane.
So yeah. So hopefully the Senate will rectify it. That means you got to get one Democrat to go against him.
Well, Joe Manchin is spouting out and feeling a lot more confident now that Biden has such a horrible track record so far. So I think trusted an old Manchin might be worthy right now. Might be
Well,
holding out.
I mean, right now, I mean, Joe Manchin, the reason he's still a senator is because the people of West Virginia like him, right? But he knows that, they'll put a Republican there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He's in one of those areas that they let him stay because they personally like the guy. But most of them, I think he's in a I'm not sure if his area is split, but there's a hell of a lot of Republicans in his area, that would vote, that he has to cover. So,
well, I think Trump got like 80 or 90% of the state last election. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. West Virginia is very, very Republican or red, conservative, whatever you want to call them, So, I think he knows that too. And of course, I mean, he's holding up on the 3.5 trillion because he knows it's wrong. The country doesn't need it, can't afford it, And whatever happened to the bipartisan 1.5 trillion package? I knew that was going to be kicked to the curb as soon as the 3.5 made it over to the House. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't trust the bastards. You really can't.
No, I don't think it. I don't think this tax reconciliation is going to get through either. Not unless they're going to have to strip it way on down.
Yeah. I mean, really, because you think about it, at least $2.5 trillion of it is pork belly, all their pet projects.
Right.
So. And as Joe said, he ain't going to sign it because he knows back to his constituents won't stand for it. Plus, the country won't stand for it right now.
Yeah.
So
that General Mark Mealy, I can't believe a 4-star general is so anti. Or whatever, heavy-handed. What do you call it when he was working completely against Trump in the back end? Oh, that came out with Woodward today.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think it's true, or is it just a deflection?
I think he's bragging about it. Yeah, I think it's true.
I mean, if it's true, then he needs to go. But being one of the elite, if he does resign, nothing's going to happen to him. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's kind of treasonous when you call up China and tell them. I mean, it actually puts us in more danger than he thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, because first of all, he tipped his hat that he thought that Trump was going to do something, which makes them even more hair trigger.
I've never liked him anyway. Hey, G23. It's in the chat there. No, I agree with you. I mean, it's definitely that. But where I'm going with this is nothing personally is going to happen to him. He's not going to be court-martialed. He's not going to be arrested. If the most that's going to happen to him is they're going to tell him he's going to resign and retire on full benefits is what's going to happen to him.
Yeah.
That'll be the worst.
Yeah, and then he'll get a job working for
CNN.
Whatever company. No, he won't he'll get a job with a defensive contractor company.
Yeah, but he'll end up on CNN as one of their people they go to. He's a Democrat through and through. We know that. So I think he's the worst goddamn general that they've had in a long time.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, there were
I
a
was,
bunch
I
of
was
them.
looking up
There
his
was
record.
Gates. Gates
His
was a
record
little
ain't that great.
bastard. Gates was a bastard. No, there was a bunch of them. A whole den of snakes in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the swamp. I mean, that Pentagon is the swamp.
You know. So oh yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And now I see our boy down in California kept his job as governor, Newsom. I knew
That
that.
was.
I knew that was going to happen.
You think it was a rigged election? I mean, all those Republicans going in there and their vote was already voted. Their vote was already in.
That was isolated incidents. And
Yeah, but how would you like it if you went in there and they told you already voted?
I'm telling you what they're saying. That they're
Right.
saying that's isolated incidents, and I'm sure it happened to a couple of Democrats. You know,
Right.
that was what I read somewhere today. We're sure it happened to it happened to Republicans, but I'm sure it happened to some Democrats. No Democrats come forward and said it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's because another Democrat grabbed their vote and voted for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus, didn't they have mail-in ballots again?
that's all they do is mail-in ballots, right? Or 90% of it's mail-in ballots. But the way, I mean, think of all the people that didn't vote and didn't even notice it, but they already voted because somebody grabbed their vote.
Yeah, G23 is saying rigged. Jerry Parker saying rigged. You know, I wouldn't be surprised that it went. And what's so bad is if you read everything, look at everything. 2022, we should take the House and the Senate. But if we don't figure out this fraud, that ain't going to happen. So you might as well kiss 2022 goodbye. Well, as it stands right now, Miles will kiss any conservative being a president ever again.
Well, hold on. Now that only happened because of 4 states. So it was Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona, and possibly Wisconsin. But those 4 states had just 4 major Democrat cities. So it was just 4 cities that were able to swing the whole vote that swung the whole electoral college. So you couldn't do that when it's every different congressional district, all 435 of them. There's no way they could do that. So there's going to be a major shift in seats from red to blue or blue to red.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, I mean, because they can't, they are only able to stuff ballot boxes in the big cities. So, I mean, the big cities, that's not even half the, half of the congressional districts. So, yeah, there's going to be a big swing.
Well, I'm glad you're confident.
Yeah, that's right. I don't trust any of the voting. So
I don't either.
Not after the last time. So I don't like the fact that they did it in a way that they can change my vote later or alter it. When there was nothing wrong with my vote, it should have just went through normal. But instead, they instructed us to push the button there, a little green button. So it was marked to be in a batch file for a supervisor to oversee as if there was a problem with it. So I don't trust it at all. So, and I honestly don't see the point in any of this until they get at least want to start addressing that as far as following the politic conversation and stuff.
But the problem is
it's gone off the freaking rails.
The problem is they're not gonna work on it because there was none proven. He had 76 court cases and he lost them all. Just because no judge looked at it, or it doesn't mean it didn't happen. You know?
Yeah, well, I know it could have happened in my area, and that's enough for it to be a problem. It should have never been put down that way. So,
Yeah.
which also means they could have used my vote against me as well. They could have reversed my vote. So, for all the people that say, well, if you don't vote, you're just giving it to them. Well, if I vote, I might be giving it to them even more because they might be using my vote against me. It's a possibility. So, and all that shouldn't be. I shouldn't have to hope and pray they do the honorable thing. That's not how voting's supposed to work.
Yeah, it's just like they got rid of all the local poll workers, and then they brought in city employees here in my part of Atlanta, and then the guy that was there's a different when you do the printout, and then you take your printout to the guy who puts them in the scanners that are locked over a 55-gallon drum, and he looks at your ballot and he says left or right, and I'm like, why are you deciding who gets left or right? Oh, he goes, oh, I'm just separating them. I mean, because that's those little floppy drives that they're losing and forgetting, and all that manipulation. So that's how they do it here in Atlanta. Is you don't let them strong arm you and tell you which barrel to put it in.
Yeah.
If he tells you put it in the left barrel, you put it in the right barrel and tell him to fuck off.
Yeah. But anyway, but back to your other thing is they don't have to rig 427 election. They've only got to go after the ones that they've got a strong candidate running against somebody, enough to give them the majority in the House. It wouldn't be that easy. I mean, not that easy. It wouldn't be that hard. All they got to do is mail in ballots. They find out what the Republicans' vote is, and they just come up with some mail-in ballots to, get ahead of him if it's only just by a few hundred.
No, it's not even that. It's electronic manipulation as well. During those hearings, there was
it hasn't been proven.
It hasn't been accepted in court, but it's been proven with the evidence right there presented in the hearings. But apparently, that just doesn't matter, I guess, because a gavel wasn't ringing on it. But that's the ridiculous part about it. I think people have gone to prison for a lot less, let alone been able to say, yeah, there might be an issue. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here in Atlanta, we just had all out fraud. I mean, you saw that mother-daughter team, all that palming those thumb drives and pulling out suitcases. I mean, those people, they shouldn't just be jailed. I mean, they should be run out of, fired from their job. I mean, there's no reason that Ruby and her mama should even have a job with the county, or city.
But nothing happened to them, has there?
Not that I heard of.
Yeah. Then your what's his name? Your DA or secretary of whatever he is.
Yeah, Rassenberger.
Decided to drop off 100,000 names off your electoral roll. Why didn't he do that before the election? Because Biden only won by 11,000 votes. Didn't he in your state?
Yeah, he just had to let all those out-of-staters come in and vote.
Yeah. It makes you wonder how come after the election they do that, but not before.
Well, but Kemp, when he had that job before Raffensperger, the governor had that job. He did purge a lot from the rolls for the 2016 election.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, is he a rhino or is he a good governor?
I mean, I went to high school with him. I mean, I think I'd like to think he's a good guy, but I know for a fact he's not. I'd say he's one of those millionaire type of Republicans versus a Trump type of Republican, if you know what I mean.
Oh, G23 wants to know, at what point do we give up on the ballot box? Good question. We got an answer
I've
there.
already given up. I've already given up.
You've already given up.
The fact that they're just nothing's being done and it's just being overlooked. Yeah, I feel there's no hope in voting the next time. So if anything, they're going to use it against me.
So you're not going to vote in 2022?
Not unless the election gets or the voting process gets reformed, addressed, something's done to it. No, then I'm not going to let them use a vote against me. Actually, I'll probably go to my station and attempt to, but as soon as if it's the same machines and they're pulling the same shit, then no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give them my word to flip on me. So it's better off for the numbers if I just stayed out of it.
Yeah. What about you, Will and Well Armed?
Well, I'm going to vote. I mean, regardless, I'm going to vote, but I'm going to fight or protest or get out there and, whatever I got to do to make my vote.
But at what point do you give up on the ballot box?
Well, I mean, if you see one more of those damn 3 o'clock in the morning swings, something's going on, right?
Yeah.
I already know something's going on.
Yeah. Oh, AR Guns says Kemp did what was right. He is conservative in most areas. I've given up on the ballot box, but I'm still going to go vote. Be honest with you, here where I'm at, this part of Indiana, I don't think there's a Democrat running. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say a story about Kemp. In Clark County, that's Athens, Georgia, where my family's from. My brother and a bunch of his friends, whole bunch of them, they all went in and changed the Republican party for the county, and they all voted in themselves, and all the rhinos got voted out. Well, Brian Kemp was over the state. He was Secretary of State at the time, and he went into Clark County. He put an advertisement in a Tuesday's newspaper, and they came in, that old group that just got voted out. They all voted them. They had a public meeting because they announced in the newspaper. They voted out my brother and everybody else out. So Kemp is a dirty little bastard when it comes to getting what he wants done. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Jerry Parker. Because G23 says, at what point do we give up on the ballot box? Jerry Parker says, and go to the ammo box. I don't know the answer. I sit here and say, if they had a call for arms, even though I'm disabled, fat, and old, I would still show up, to help out if I can. That's what I'm saying. That's what I would do. But when is enough is the question, I guess. We keep saying, it's not going to, there's got to be a point where you draw the line in the sand. The line keeps getting drawn. We let them step over it, then we draw it again. So don't go past this line, and they do it. And don't go past this line, and they go past it. When are we going to say enough's enough? When we have no rights left? I'm just saying, So I don't know. We've got to vote, but something's got to be done because there is definitely something wrong with the system. Yep.
Well, they don't seem to be getting
not
too
legitimate, then you don't technically. If you can't, trust what you voted was actually being your vote, then why should you vote? Why, if you're going in a casino and they tell you it's rigged, like you've seen it, it's on the walls, you saw it last time you were there, are you still going to sit down and slap your money down? I mean, that's just foolish. You're playing a losing game. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that is the definition of insanity. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I
Well,
guess
people got to
hold
wake
on, New
up
York.
and
You got to
demand some
look at it from
change
their
or something.
you got to look at it from their point of view too. Now,
Yeah,
they got
play the game any way they want you to. You're still playing their game.
hold on. They got they got the House, they got the Congress, they got the Senate, they got pretty much everything except for the Supreme Court, and they're not getting a damn thing through, right? They got to be saying it's rigged as well, and they're going to be just as disappointed, and they might not go to the polls at all this coming year. And even you think they're going to be lined up in the poll to go vote for Harris in 2024? I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I personally feel that we should get rid of all counting machines and go back to paper ballot and paper counting. Sitting there going counting them.
Yep.
Counting them by hand. I know it will take longer, but I would feel safer that way than using these machines. Because any machine can be manipulated. I mean, I know this is getting a bit far fetched, but one of those days, I happened to flip over on Right Side Broadcasting and watch some of that Mike Lindell shit that was going on back in August. And there was one computer guy there talking, and he made kind of sense. But I guess it's kind of way out there, though. But he says, all right, so you've got a counting machine. He goes, it's been sent to a company that says, yes, it's working like it's meant to. But how do you know that all the components on, for argument's sake, say it has a motherboard in it. I can't remember the term he used, but say it has a motherboard in it. Can you guarantee every single thing on that motherboard hasn't been tampered with? That once you've certified it, got it set up, they can't go in and change something on it? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, anything that's electronic or anything like that can be tampered with. There's nothing that's foolproof.
Simplicity is key with something like that. I think, and verification, in a sense, by humans not relying on technology. I think it definitely could be done. I mean, if you look at all the things we can do nowadays, we should easily be able to come up with something like that that's trustworthy and verifiable. But, there's smarter people than us that can do this type.
Yeah.
There's a reason they don't want to. It's because they're manipulating the damn thing.
I guess the way it could be done is a counting machine to be totally made. Every goddamn component, every weld, every soldering thing on it done by one company. Right? That way nothing in it is being tampered with at all. I mean, that's one way of doing it. But another big help in this would be voter ID. You got to have voter ID. I don't give a shit what they say. I got to show my ID when I go to even when I went to the doctor's office last couple of weeks ago, they've got they're upgrading their computer system. And they asked for my insurance card and my driver's license for an ID. I've even got to show an ID to get into goddamn doctor's office. I don't have to show one to vote. That's bullshit. I mean, here in Indiana, you have to show. They use an ID thing. But what I'm saying, some of these places that say you don't need an ID to vote is bullshit.
I agree.
You know. So
yeah, I agree too. I think ID should be required. It's a different thing on every individual should have to have an ID. That's your choice if you want to be like the sovereign citizen or whatever your deal. But obviously, if that's the case, then you kind of forfeit the right to vote as well. But other than that,
even the sovereign citizen should be able to pull out the birth certificate or something, right?
sure. Well, that's a government form. So, you know what I mean? And as soon as you do that or sign up for a license or even a social security card, or when your parents sign up, you're actually giving them the power to rule you in a sense. Which if I had a lot more money and knew this stuff before, maybe I would have took that route, but that's a whole nother story. But once, it's a Black's Law, all that stuff, which is legitimate. There, matter of fact, I got a book on it. I just got the other day, but it's just modern courts don't recognize that. So you're going to get screwed. You need money to go through that way, but that's a whole other topic. But as far as driving a motor vehicle, like going to get a pack of cigarettes, I've been ID'd to buy a lighter at the grocery store. Doesn't Walmart flag you for spray paint and stuff, and they want to make sure you're of age?
Oh yeah, I mean even.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with all that, but if we can go through all that on a daily basis, it shouldn't be a problem to whip an ID out when you go vote and say, "Hey, this is me."
Yeah, you got to have an ID
really
to buy glue.
A
You got to have an ID to prove how old you are to buy glue. To buy, as you said, the old Zippo lighters with the fluid that you pour into them. You have to be a certain age to buy those and have ID to prove it. So this no ID, you can vote without an ID is absolutely bullshit, and that's how they rig it some of the time. G23 says, I do believe that every state has laws requiring identification, and every child born is issued a social security number. Yeah, I mean,
sure, you can surrender it, but it's a process. Same with IDs and stuff, but it's a lot easier if you start off knowing that and not acquire it as you go in life and then change your mind later. But look, some people are pissed about the debt that's assigned to them with that social security number. When you look further into it, in a sense, we're paying for stuff that was acquired long before us. It's the same with some of the stimulus and other things as well. It's going to get passed on to our children. So it's kind of an ultimate EFTA system in a way.
But how are you going to survive in this country without a social security number?
Skills. I've known plenty of employers. If you can do your job, they don't care. Are you going to be a doctor or brain surgeon? No. But can you survive and live and have an apartment and a vehicle? Sure. There's ways to do things.
How are you going to drive?
Like every other criminal.
Yeah, I see your point. But that's what I'm saying is the social security number is. I mean, the best way is to be born into a billionaire's family. Then really, technically, you wouldn't need a social security number because you wouldn't want it for anything. You don't need it. You don't need anything that your social security number will get you. You don't need to apply for credit. You don't need to apply for anything. You don't need you wouldn't need one. The only thing, but then again, they would get you eventually because they would say, hang on a minute, he's 40 years old and he's never paid taxes on anything, on any money he's got. Then they run a check on you and they realize you're not in the system. And they're going to arrest you for not having a social security number, or some shit. I don't know. I know I'm stretching it there, but you know, it's a nice dream, but in reality, it don't work that way. So, anyway, it's 8:00, guys. You want to carry on for a little bit more, or do we wind it up? Because I'm going to have pizza tonight.
Let's wind it up. I'm hungry too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a pizza tonight. Just a frozen pizza in the oven. That will do me. Anyway, real quick though. Where is it? I've lost it. Here it is. Hang on. Got to bring it up. I closed it down. Forgot about it. Okay. Quiz. This is for the 25th of September. Hang on, I'm waiting for it to do its thing here. Okay, hang on. Damn things so slow. Oh, yeah, okay. What I wanted to know is the name of the gun maker or the name of the company who made rifles, the Kentucky rifle or Pennsylvania rifle didn't get that name until the 1800s. But that particular type of rifle, the long rifle, I think is the correct term for it. Need the name of the person or the name of the company who made rifles for the Continental Army, and later, around 1792, he had a contract to furnish rifles to the United States Army. I want his name. Email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. And we got some patches here. And if I'm correct, I believe Gun-Loving Grandpa has put up another 6-inch steel target. So you email me at rickslife@gmail.com.
And those are the last of the old wheeled and well armed. The new ones are ordered up today, so there'll be a new design coming out.
Oh yeah, so these will be collector's items.
That's right.
Yeah. So there you go. Get it into me by the 25th of September, 12 noon Eastern time, the only time zone that matters. All right. Oh, G23 said he received it. That's good. So, all right. All right. New York Outcast, any plugs or shout outs?
Just thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Obviously, if you're interested in the display, Rick put a link out there, I believe, or somebody did. Check it out. Other than that, have a great week.
Yeah. Oh, Patriot in the Dark's finally dropped in as we're closing up. Good evening, gentlemen and Rob. Well and well armed. You got anything?
Thanks a lot for having me, Rick. I cleaned my CZ Rammy yesterday, and I'm going to shoot it up against the Wilson EDC Combat subcompact. So those two should be pretty good competition. So we'll see how they do.
All right. As I said, I'm going shooting in the morning before I go to breakfast. I only shoot 2 or 3 magazines, or as my this. Here in this part
of time when sighting it in.
I know.
Take your time.
I know. But where I was going with this is
take the whole box of ammo.
Where I was going with this is here in Indiana, a lot of these old country boys around here call them clips. He said, because I said, he goes, why don't you stop by and shoot 2 or 3 clips? I said, yeah, I'll come by and shoot 2 or 3 magazines. I'll call him a magazine, but I don't correct him when he says clip. I know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, it's just petty.
I got Army buddies, and they still call them clips.
Yeah. I'll call them magazines. They can call them clips if they wish. Each to their own is what I say. So, anyway, I want to say to everybody in the chat, thank you for stopping by on this Wednesday afternoon. We did talk we did talk disability stuff for the first half of the show. So if we're late getting in here, I do apologize. But I'll be back on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. And then that's open discussion. Come up with some topics. If you got anything you want to discuss, email me, and I'll add it to the list of questions to bring up, topics. So I want to say thank you all again for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all on Saturday. So good evening, everybody.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Sabrina. Since we don't have